sometimes I may feel like I'm in the back burner, but
Right.
it's not really that. It's we're evolving as humans, which is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So yeah, you're marrying the unknown, and you know, again, like how do men deal with that? How do women deal with that? So
Right.
it's never a thing where it's just a one script, one blueprint. You're
Right.
continuously trying to figure things out, communication, and I want to have real conversations about how people deal with these things.
Yeah.
All right, we live and back, episode 8 of Inside the Mind. I am your host, John Reese, and we have the elites of the elites in the building today. Yes, I said it. He's been competing for about 10 years, has 1 novice overall, competed in 2 national shows. He says he got smoked in the first one. I don't believe it, but we'll talk about it. Second one he won in 2016 at the USA's in Vegas. He's competed in just about 13 pro shows, 6 pro wins, including this year at the Palmetto Pro, and he's going to the Olympia for the 4th consecutive year. My guy, Daniel Ammons in the building. How you doing, brother? Yeah.
Good, man. I'm good. Can't complain. You know, I'm here. I mean, I could complain, but it ain't gonna do me no good.
Hey, I like the sound of that because earlier in my career I did a lot of complaining for nothing. So would love to get your insight on that, man. So always do a check-in, man. I know you said you're feeling good, but mentally, like, where's your headspace at nowadays? How are you feeling mentally?
Mentally, and I think that's honestly probably one of the best attributes of me is my mental. Being military, you know, and dealing with PTSD and having therapists and just overall just you know, diving deep and realizing how important the mind is. It's so I'm always make sure my headspace is you know top notch and A1. And I notice within my competing that if you're in a good headspace, then your body will you know respond with it, you know, in a positive way. If you're in a negative headspace, your body's going to respond in a negative way. So the body follows where the mind is, and so you know I feel good, man. I'm confident, and um, I'm just loving life, man. You know.
That's what's up, man. You hit it right on the nose, man. I'm only 4 years in. I took this year off, but it's interesting how that concept kind of leaves. It comes and goes in a sense, but I think I understood it more this year, taking the time off and, you know, being in that right headspace of, you know, chasing that pro card and in my pro debut for so long. And I put like these pressures on me literally for no reason, and that kind
Yeah.
of it messed with my mind state a little bit. But anytime I knew I was in a good mindset, it was definitely a way better prep for any show. So
Oh, most
like
definitely.
you hit it right on the nose. So you, man, 10 years in the game, man. Tell me how you got started.
Yeah, man, 10 years. It doesn't seem like 10 years, but it's been 10 years. I said I was going to retire about 5 years ago. So,
Really?
um, but I got started. I've always been into the gym, man. I've been athletic, you know, doing sports. I played college ball and everything like that. And then ended up going into the military. And then, but I was a twig, man. I was super skinny. And so when I was in the military, they used to always obviously make fun of me and everything like that and how skinny I was. And so that's when I really started getting into going to GNC and, you know, getting all
Mhm.
the magazines and muscle magazines. And I'm like spending $500 on supplements that I have no idea what they do. And, you know, I'm like, give me 7 bottles of creatine, give me, you
We've
know,
all
20
been
bottles of
there.
protein, you know what I'm saying? So that's when it all started was back then. And then eventually, you know, over time, I have a friend that I used to work with. His wife was a competitor, and she asked me, she was like, "Hey, she was like, you're in good shape. Why don't you just do one of those competitions since you're in the gym all day, every day anyway, and you look, you know, you look like you have enough muscle and everything." I was like, man, I'm not trying to wear no G-string on stage, you know.
Hey,
I'm not like,
yo.
I was like, that's not me, you know. And I was
Right.
like, then that she was like, no, they just came out with men's physique. It's got the board shorts. It's more of a pretty boy. You don't have to have a lot of muscle. You wear the swim trunks, you know. And I was like, oh. And then I looked it up, And that's when I was like, you know what? I was like, shoot, let me go ahead and try it. And so my first competition was the INBA ABA All Natural Division,
Uh-huh.
and I did that one. Man, I was your boy was over there eating Subway 2 days out. You know what I'm saying? 2 days before my
Hey.
show, I didn't know what I was doing, bro. Like honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm over there eating Subway, thinking it's healthy because it says eat fresh.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
We've
Drinking
been
a
there too. I've
Gatorade,
been there.
and
Absolutely.
I still got second place though. You know, and so me getting second place,
Crazy.
not knowing what I was
Uh-huh.
doing, I was like, oh man. I was like, what if I actually get a coach, man, and actually put my all into this? I was like, I think I could be pretty good. So I switched over to
Mhm.
NPC. So I wanted a challenge, and then that's when NPC in 2014 I do the Legends, and I won like 5 first placer and that novice overall.
That's what's
So,
up, man. That's crazy because starting off thinking you know what you're doing, and we've all been in that place where it's just like, okay, just because it says it's healthy, that doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy. You
oh
know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, especially in the terms of like the bodybuilding world, and for you to actually have second place, that's pretty crazy. Still,
yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
but yeah, man, you mentioned the impactfulness of having a therapist. Is that something you see regularly? And if so, how is that impacting you mentally later in your career?
And honestly, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't know too many people that have, especially in bodybuilding. As far as bodybuilding, I don't think many people have therapists or anything like that. And I ain't no shame in my game, bro. You know, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm too big and bad for it. I'm like, nah. Like I go to my therapist. I'm like, look, check this out. This just happened. This just happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I feel like this right now because, and my motto is, no matter what people say, they don't care what people think or do or say. But if me and you, if I tell you something deep or something like that, that's personal, I'm automatically gonna be like, oh, dude's judging me. You know what I'm saying? And
Facts.
so, and especially if for people that are closer to us, we worry about how they feel, how they perceive us, and our decisions that we make, and how we act and everything like that. But therapists, I don't know who they are. I
That's
don't know. It's
that's
like, bro, I don't
facts.
know you. I ain't
Exactly.
never gonna see you again. You know what I'm saying? So I can spill out all my juice, whatever I need to, and
Hmm.
it ain't gonna do me, no harm. So it's gonna make me do nothing but feel better because I got it out of my system, and I ain't gotta take it out on my wife. I ain't gotta take it out on my kids, or vice versa. I don't have to hold it in and then eventually explode. You know what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely.
and then as far as the bodybuilding, like I said, the bodybuilding side of things, I feel like us as competitors, that mind state is even more pressured because of what we do in our career field. And so I almost feel like it's more of a necessity for bodybuilders and competitors, And so, um, yeah, I definitely think it's something that people should look more into. And it doesn't even have to be just therapists specifically, bro. Like, find out simple things. Like my man Ant Woods, he writes down journals and stuff. He's an old time vet in the game for men's physique.
Yeah, I've seen him doing that. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's
posted
with
about it.
yep, and bro, he journals all day, every day, and just writes everything down, bro. Like that's another way that you can get your therapy, writing everything down. You know what I'm saying? And then people, may think that's childish, like, oh, you got a diary. It's like call it what it is, man. I'm just writing my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So that
That's
way,
it,
you
man.
don't
Those
got
thoughts can be very hindering in a
yeah.
sense. Like, so that's dope for him to do that. That's dope for you to actually have a great sense of self and figure out a way to get those thoughts out. And me, having my master's in clinical psych and then, getting ready to finish my PhD in psychology, like I understand that more than ever. But it's funny how I can get lost. I got lost in bodybuilding so much I forget like all the tools that I learned about because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so strict and stuck on, man, I have to achieve this, I have to do this, and I have to do like, and it ain't even that, man. So blessings to you, blessings to Ant for even figuring that out, man, for
yeah,
real.
yeah,
It's-
and that's super common. So you ain't alone. That's the number one thing that you see in bodybuilding. People losing families, people losing friends, people shutting out the whole entire world just for a trophy. And I actually ended up having some relationship issues with my wife,
Mhm.
because I was and my kids, and it kind of snapped me into reality when I think it was one day my son wanted to play ball with me or something like that,
Mhm.
and I was like, nah, dude, like I gotta go to the gym, and then I heard him like mumble under his breath. He was like, he's like, you don't never play with me, kind of thing. And then like he got
Mm.
super sad, and I was like, bro, that struck me. I was like, dang, I was like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like chasing a trophy is not more important than this time with my kid, So it's like, and the funny thing is, once I changed it, bro, I changed it, and then all of a sudden I started winning. Once I stopped caring about, uh, you know, being so strict, oh, I have to do cardio. No, I'm skipping this. I can't take my kids to the carnival because I'm missing a meal. Blah blah blah. I would get third, fourth place at the pro shows, but I would never crack, that first place and get my
Right.
qualification. And then eventually, I was like, you know what? I was like, man, my son, like, let's go to carnival. I'm like, let's go, homie, let's go. Pack up your stuff. I'll bring a
Yes.
meal with me. If I miss a meal, I'm like, I don't trip about it, bro. Like, I honestly don't. I don't trip about it. Obviously, my coach may get mad or whatever. I'm like, hey, look, like for instance, perfect example, the Olympia. Bro, the day before the Olympia, I took my kids to Disney and I was walking around for like 12, darn near 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, what are you
Man.
doing? And I was like, bro, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. My kids never been to Disney. I'm not taking this away from them. I'm making this an experience for them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what is going to stick and be, all the memories are for. I was like, and then I'll handle business on the stage. You know what I'm saying? So,
Wow. That's a lot. And I've been through like trying to find that balance. And I talked about this in like one of the previous episodes where like my wife had to pull me to the side and was like, look, you need to be present, not just here. Like
yeah,
being present and being here is something totally different.
yep,
And it took, a good foot to the butt to actually understand that, and like my daughter kind of being sad of me not being again present because she go, daddy, look at this, daddy, look at this. I'm like, oh, I see,
yeah,
but I'm
that's
so
cool.
engulfed in whatever it is that I'm doing, like, oh, I gotta get this cardio done, trying to, and it was just like it was a mess. So I totally get what you're saying, like, and for you to do that on pretty much going into at that time one of the biggest shows of your career, man, that's very honorable of you, man. So
Yeah.
I commend you on that. My question though is like, why do you feel like a lot of athletes, men, women, struggle with that balance aspect? Because you seem to have found it, in which again I commend you on that. Like, why do you feel like we struggle with that so much?
Honestly, man, just because everybody gets lost in chasing, you know, a trophy, bro. Honestly, they're trying to chase a trophy, they're trying to chase a card. And I just had this conversation with a few months back with my homie Cam Harris.
Mhm.
Honestly, bro, it also goes back to this whole social media thing. Also, people try to stay relevant, you know, and that's a big issue. Like I feel like people try to stay relevant, so they get sucked into the social media and the competitions because the competition gives them exposure and that feeling
Mm.
of being accepted. They're in a family, they're in a group of a bunch of people of like this bodybuilding career, and then like I said, social media posting, and it's like this community of bodybuilding, and it's like, and they feel relevant, and so that feeling of being relevant it's a good feeling. It's like, hey, it's like, oh snap, like I'm wanted, I feel good, people respond to me, talk to me, blah blah blah.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues. But at the same time, me, I don't care. Bro, I do not care, like, because one of my homies, he was like, why don't you have cameraman just following you around or whatever? Because I was with in Texas with
Mhm.
Aaron E. Banks, Mr. Olympia, and
Uh-huh.
he was over there, had his cameraman following him around and everything like that. And then I had when I got back to Nebraska here, he was like, hey man, why don't you have me following you around? I was like, I ain't about that life, bro. Like, I'm not trying to stay relevant. I don't care what, I mean, good for him because he's Mr. Olympia. He has to promote that, so good for him. But and I think, and I'm okay with that. If I'm not Mr. Olympia because I don't put myself out there, I'm cool with that. I've never been one to put myself out there like that. Like all I
Right.
care about is what's in my household and me giving back to the people, and that's it. You know, I'm not here for any fame, glory, or exposure. I actually prefer to stay away from it. So when you catch me outside or whatever, I always got my hat down low, my hoodie up. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that's not me. They're like, hey,
Yes.
you that fit physique guy. I'm like, no.
Nah, that ain't me. I don't know who you talking about.
So I
Uh,
mean, no, but I show love, man. When they want to take pictures, I take pictures with them and stuff like that. But I don't go around and blast them like, yeah, I'm an IFBB pro and try to stay relevant and all this other stuff. So
I hear you, man, and that's crazy because again, I'm a fan of yours, man. So yeah, you don't really put yourself out there in the public eye, but there's like prominent messages that you'll post on your story or on your like page, and I'll repost it because it's some like it really be hitting. And I'll be like, yeah, this is true. So it makes sense as far as like your belief system and how like you choose to go about things, you stay out of the light. And again, like the relevancy doesn't even matter. The funny thing is you are relevant because of how
without
you
being
carry it
relevant,
without even being relevant. So
yeah.
that's the crazy thing. Like, so I wonder why, and maybe you can, attest to this, like why do people, especially like the amateurs, like chase that relevancy? Like it's almost like an addiction. Like why are they chasing that so much? Because I'll tell you, like I was a victim of that. Like coming up, it's like, oh, like if I got a follow from you, like, oh my god, he followed me, like let me see if
Yeah.
he'll talk or whatever the case is.
Bro,
Like
you're not alone. I did the same thing.
okay,
When Jeremy popped and followed me or messaged me, I'm like, what? And then
yeah,
mine was really when obviously after the Texas, because like I said, I stay low key. Even a lot of people didn't even know I was pro. When I 2020, when I did the Tampa and I placed fifth place at the Tampa Pro, Dre
mhm,
came up to me backstage after first call outs or whatever. Dre came up to me and he was like, "And who the fuck are you, bro?" And
yeah,
I was like, and yeah, everybody's like, I don't know, I ain't never seen him before. I'm like, yeah, yeah, you got to worry about me, So
don't worry about me.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I don't know. I think, like I said, I had these people like Jeremy Poppin messaging me and stuff like that, and like I would get geeked up, and like I said, it's just that fulfillment. It's almost like a drug, you know what I'm saying? It makes you feel good. It's like, oh, I'm noticed by important people that we feel are important, but in reality is they're not the ones who are important in our life, and that's what's crazy.
Mm,
We're not ex they're important people, Jeremy Potvin and Dre and anybody in this world is important in their own ways, but they're not important in our life as far as you know family. People are here there for us and stuff like that, and so people who loved us ever since we were growing up, what I'm saying, and it's been there and supported us and helped raise us and stuff like that, and um, we throw those people on the back burner for these other people that
mm.
and eventually once you come to the realization, I was like, that's not okay, you know.
Not at all, man. Not at all. And it still stings me a little bit the fact that I allowed a dream and a promise to kind of put my family on the back burner, knowing that they are the most important people in my support system. Like, yeah, that stings me a little bit. And
Yeah.
again, like you seem to have that pretty much down pat. Not to say you always had it, but again, like, so how does your support system foster, a positive mindset for you? Like maybe it may be a rough day in the gym or whatever the case is. Like, how does your support system pretty much foster your positive mindset?
Well, I'm gonna start by saying this, man. A lot of people think that sacrifices, as bodybuilders, the ones that we make are like the greatest sacrifices ever. It's like we have to sacrifice so much time, food, all that stuff, our bodies, our health, everything like that. But man, realistically, when I just look at my wife and my kids and the amount of sacrifices they have to make just to compensate for what I do, it's not even close to the sacrifices I have to make.
Talk about it.
So, Um, my support system, man, my wife and kids and family. Like I said, when my wife was deployed, my parents, they flew over or drove over 6, 7 hours just to make sure that they can watch the kids so I can go do a show. They didn't have to drive 6 hours, 7 hours and stay and watch the kids, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they make sure, I stay on top of what I need to. And honestly, if it wasn't for my support system, like I said, I would have been retired 5 years ago, bro. Like I was done. I was like, I'm good. I was gonna do, or no, about 3 years ago or whatever. After that first Olympia, that once I did my first Olympia, bro, I was like, all right, I did because that was the dream. Make it to the Olympia. That was it. I was like, all right, dream
Wow.
accomplished. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And I got 13th place. Out of like 40 some people that year.
Hmm.
First Olympia, and I was like, I'm done. But my wife's like, hey, you got more in you. You know, so and then I get messages from all these people saying, you inspire me and this and that, and I love watching you on stage, and that's what's like, I guess I'll keep going. It's like, but as long as
Man,
I'm doing it the right way, you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
That's
Hmm.
the only way that I'm going to continue is if I do it the right way. And so, like I said, coaches and other people may not agree with me. There's a lot of people that don't agree with me. They're like, oh, you got to, you know, it's a lifestyle. You got to be about it. So my motto is you have to revolve bodybuilding around your life, not your life around bodybuilding. And that's the difference. A lot of these guys and girls are revolving their life around bodybuilding. So you got bodybuilding is the core, and then they put their life on the outside. So when everything falls and there's an earthquake, what comes off first? All the stuff on the outside. So your life
Yeah.
falls apart, and the structure of bodybuilding is still there. Guess what? That's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But if you have your core is your life, your kids, your family, your job, your career, your morals, your beliefs is the core. Bodybuilding's on the outside. Guess what? You lose bodybuilding. So what? It was a hobby anyway. You know what I'm saying? You still got your family, your morals, your beliefs, and bro, I'm telling you, that house is gonna be stronger than it's ever been.
Man, he out here preaching, y'all. Boy, look, out here letting y'all know what
But don't get me
I'm
started.
telling you, man. Look, I'm telling you, like, it's crazy how it took me so long to get that. And then now when I talk to like a few of the athletes that I coach, I have one that's getting ready to go up to North Americas, and I'm telling them, like, yo, make sure you take care of home first. Same thing my coach would tell me, take care of home first. That's always going to be prominent, like always. And he's just so like tunnel vision, tunnel vision. And I'm like, look, that stage ain't going nowhere, man. I
Yeah,
said, I'm telling you this now because I just figured it out.
yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
just figured it out. So I only can give it to you from experience. And these are the things like people that's been in the game forever would tell me, and I didn't hear it because I'm so busy. Oh, this pro card is gonna make me great. And I love being a pro, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was gonna do something illustrious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Being a pro ain't nothing but a title now. And the thing is, the title now, it's not even a title worth mentioning because they give so many pro cards out, bro. Like everybody's a pro
man.
now. Like, and that's the thing that kind of irritates me because I turned pro back in 2016. And
Uh-huh.
so there was only one or two national shows where you can turn pro back then. Now there's like 10 shows that you could turn pro. And then yeah, so it's like completely different. So
That's crazy. That
and
wasn't
they
even
give
that
it
long ago.
yeah, that's how long ago. Yeah. Yep. Now there's like 8, 10 shows given first and second place. So when I was coming up, it was just USA's.
Mhm.
That was and then top two at USA's would get their pro card because that was like the mecca, kind of thing. And then they also had junior nats, which
Mhm.
that one was only first place. There was no top
Right.
two at junior nats. It was only first place. And that was pretty much it. That was it. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And so now they got Nashville and a bunch of other places, and you
Yeah.
know, yeah, bro. So,
That's
so having
wild,
that
man.
title is like, it's like, oh, you're a pro. It's like my thing is when I coach clients, I tell them, I'm like, okay, they're like, oh, I want to chase my pro card. That's the number one thing that I get. I'm pretty sure you do too.
Mhm.
It's like, hey,
Mhm.
man, you send them a questionnaire. What do you talk to them and get your introduction. It's like, what do you want? No, I want to get my pro card. It's like, oh yeah, how many shows have you done? This is my first show. It's like, all right. It's like, all right. Well, let me see how you look. And it's like, oh. And so I kind of hit him with some
Yeah.
realistics. I'm like, once you turn pro, I was like, how well do you think you're gonna do? And then I put up pictures of like, some pros. And I'm like, how
Mhm.
well do you think that you would do against these guys? And then they'd be like, oh, these guys are monsters. I'm like, well, if you turn pro, you got no choice but to go against them. So you're gonna be back at the bottom.
Exactly. Mhm.
Like, so why rush it? That card means nothing. Like you don't get paid. There's no salary that comes with it. So obviously if you're doing it for business purposes, if you want to increase your prices, because some people do that, which I don't even do that, but some people they're like, oh, I'm an IFBB pro, so I'm going to charge you an extra $200. It's like you're still the same person. you st-
Yes, the
that
same
doesn't increase
person.
your coaching
That's
ability.
crazy. No, it
But
does not. The experience does, and learning and educating and having these conversations. Like, yeah, it's great to hear you say these things, man. Because, like I said, you're a prominent voice within the sport, the league, especially in our division. And I hope that when people hear this, they understand it's coming from a great place and it's real.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
even in this aspect I'm learning right now, it's just like, dang, all this stuff is resonating. So that's pretty dope. But I want to pivot to the fact that you're under one of the most elite coaches, if not one of the best coaches in the sport right now. And what gets talked about a lot is like how he's able to transform in the conditioning and he doesn't miss on stage. But I want to know if possible if you can attest to this, like as far as your coach Ariel, like what he does for you as far as personally, as far as mentally, outside of just the okay, here's what you're gonna eat, here's what we're gonna
yeah.
do, being with you on stage. Like, how does he pretty much promote you mentally to be the best version of Daniel?
Man, to be honest with you, Uh, that's why I love Ariel, honestly. So first and foremost, he's a man of God. So we talk about God all the time,
Yes.
you know.
Mhm.
And so he's not just my coach. Like literally, we have conversations about literally any and everything. I call him and he calls me or texts me about any and everything. And that's the thing. He's an open book. And
Mhm.
as many clients as he has, the 500, 600 set, who knows, whatever that number is. um, he still has time, you know what I'm saying? And he's genuine about everything that he does. And so my biggest thing is when I came up with, and I ended up getting heart disease and backing out of last year's Olympia, he
Mm.
uh, he's the first one who was like, I mean, in my phone, bro, like blowing me up. Like, how you feeling? Are you all right? Like, how's the heart today? Like, bro, not, I'm like, bro, I'm good, chill. Like, my wife don't even ask me so much, you know? So and then he's like, no, I think we should hang it up, let's just spend time with your family, this and that. So he doesn't even care about me, you know here. And that's a big decision, not just for me, but here he is, a coach of a client who, not to toot my own horn, but was up and coming and being one of the bigger names in the league.
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
if that was any other coach, that's all that they would only care about, putting me back on stage. That's it. Because it would get them that fame and notoriety. It's like, that's my athlete and
Mhm.
that's my guy. Ariel's like, nope, nope. I was like, all right, bro, hey, I feel good. Let's do it again. Let's run it. Nope. He's like, how's your labs? How's your blood work? How's your heart? I'm like, so he's constantly asking me about how I'm doing. And to have a coach like that is real rare, you know, and a blessing, and definitely a blessing. Because to be honest with you, if I was with any other coach, I probably wouldn't be worried about my health, and I probably would maybe still be doing shows, and it
Mhm.
could cost me my life. You know what I'm saying? And so him and my wife, he even talks to my wife and is like, hey, make sure he's taking his vitamins. Hey, how's he feeling? So he makes sure he stays on top of it, not only with me but with everybody else around me too.
That's dope, man. Shout out to your coach, bro. Like, yeah, I know he has a large amount of clients. So for him to, put his pride and ego to the side and actually care about your well-being, which again, in this sport, it's rare.
Oh yeah.
So, like, shout out to him and shout out to your wife too for them being on the same page because that matters.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So going first of all, blessings to you for going through what you're going through still, or I'm not too sure about that, but hopefully speedy recovery if you're still recovering, all that stuff, man. Wishing you nothing but the best regarding that. So when you did drop out of the Olympia, yeah, you were one of the ones that was you honestly could have won it because you were on a streak, like Tampa Pro, and then it was I think it was like one more before that too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
So I was undefeated pretty much.
yes, you
My
were.
last I think it was like my last 5 shows. I haven't lost my
Man.
last 5 shows. So I think it was like Hurricane. No, it was before that. Miami. I won Miami, and I
Mhm,
won Hurricane, and then I won Tampa, and then I won Texas, and
mhm.
so and all
Man,
these shows, I was beating Olympians, for all these shows, and so I beat Aria,
mm.
I beat Dre and Andre Dayu, and Anthony Gilks, and so
And you're not one of the biggest guys in the division. I want people to really understand that, like, your aesthetics are clean, bro. Clean posing, everything's clean. That's the adjective I like to use for you. Like
yep,
everything's clean and symmetrical.
yep. Yeah,
So
I'm very big on having a clean, streamlined physique.
yes,
Like when I work out, bro, honestly, when I work out, if I'm doing shoulder presses, right, and I'm like this, and I see one hand's like this, I get irritated. I'm like, I'm like, nope. I'm like, let me fix that. So I'm like super like, yeah, everything has to be the exact same. So that way I'm nice and symmetrical. And if I see something overpowering something else, I'm like, mm-mm.
the
So like a lot of people
details.
have splits, Monday chest, Tuesday this, Wednesday
Mhm,
that. I don't. It's very unorthodox, and I probably don't recommend it for people. But the way I train is I look in the mirror and see what needs to be hit, so that way I stay symmetrical. If my chest looks flat, I'm hitting chest, even though I may have hit it 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying?
hey,
So
that's what works for you, man. So, if it's unorthodox, it works. So, it is what it
yep,
what it is.
yep,
But, yeah, you were on a 5-show win streak, and for unfortunate reasons, you had to pull out of what could have been, again, the biggest show of your career. Talk to me about, what was your headspace then, and how were you able to transition into 2023?
my headspace then was obviously it was tough, man.
Mhm,
Being having coaches and judges and athletes and literally everybody saying, um, I was going to be in the top 5 easily, that year.
mhm.
Um, and hearing it directly from people's mouths, important people who, play important roles,
Mhm,
it's like heart wrenching. So I still did what I could, and I went to the Olympia. I went and I supported, and showed face and everything like that. But to be honest, even just watching it, it was just like a shot to the stomach, bro.
mm,
And I didn't even want to be there. I was like, man, I should be up there. And so it was sickening, um, but at the same time, you know, it made me realize how blessed I am to still be there because honestly, um, like I said, with heart disease. So just a quick background. I
okay,
was diagnosed with heart disease. I had a blockage in my left artery. They call it the
mhm,
widowmaker. So pretty much, they call it the widowmaker because it's when you fall asleep and you die in your sleep, pretty much. And you don't know, you don't have any symptoms really or anything like that. You just die, that kind of thing. So,
mm,
so I had pretty much that, and so luckily, um, um, I found out because I ended up taking like too much pre-workout and burn and all this other stuff. So I was having heart palpitations that felt like a heart attack. So I called the
mm,
ambulance, and then I went to the ambulance, and then while traveling me to the ER, I pretty much was going into cardiac arrest. Freaking, my heart was like stopping, and then so they had to give me a bunch of stuff. But long story short, I didn't even have a heart attack. It was just heart palpitations. But that led to further examination showing
Mhm.
all the blockages and all this, and they're like, "Well, you do have heart disease, though." Even though you didn't have a heart attack, they said you need to get treated. And so ever since then, they put me on medication. I've been treated and everything like that, and monitored. And I have a cardio specialist that I see, and I do everything. I had changed my diet and everything like that. So, um, but yeah, so going through that and knowing that, like I said, my diet changed. Everything changed, man. It changed my whole life. You know, I have to literally watch what I do. And from, like I said, from coming from a standpoint with somebody who has PTSD and anxiety and everything,
Mhm.
that adds, because obviously anxiety causes heart issues as well. And so
Yeah.
anytime I feel anything like the shortest pain in my chest or anything like that, I don't know what it could be, but automatically now my mind thinks, oh, is this it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it adds a bunch more stress. Um, and anxiety onto me, but I do what I can, and I know God's got me, and so um, as long as I keep doing what I need to do as far as health wise, and sticking to the because I'm on a heart friendly diet as well.
Mhm.
As I continue doing that and I feel good, then I'll be good to go. And so that's leading up to 2023. To answer your question, that's what I've been doing leading up to 2023 is you know more heart friendly diet, just really health based. Honestly, everything's been more health based, and luckily my body's still been responding well, and mentally I'm better because I've been able to compete, you know, and so and still do well,
Yes.
and that's the difference. Everything changed, and so uh, for me to still win a show with all these crazy changes and everything like that is like, oh, it's like maybe I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely, man. Man, prayers to you, prayers to your family for sure. I know that definitely scary, and it's just like a lot of, things that, with the PTSD and anxiety, and then you have that. So it's like pretty much combating each other.
yeah.
So, was there any hesitancy in trying to get back on stage? So I know you went back to Miami after that, and then you hit, I think it was a Palmetto Pro after that. So was there any hesitancy in even trying to attempt to get back on stage?
So yeah, directly afterwards, I took a long break off. Obviously, that's
Mhm,
why I missed the Olympia and everything like that.
mhm,
And then once I got all my information back, saying, and I got the clear from the cardiologist saying that I was good to go back to normal activity. I just did what I could to. I was like, hey, this is what I need to do. Ariel being the great coach that he is, he helped me fit in a heart friendly diet. We changed up my foods. I'm eating a whole bunch of healthy fats and everything like that. I stayed in the gym, started working out, and I told Ariel, like, simply, I was like, look, I'm gonna stay in the gym. I'm gonna work out and do what I need to do. If I'm ready for a show, I'll do one. If I'm not, and I look like crap, I'm, obviously done, and I'm gonna have to hang it up. So we had no plan. It's just I just went back to work, and that was it. And then eventually, I was feeling good. I had no heart issues, no chest issues,
mhm,
and my body was responding well to the new diet and the weights, and I looked good enough to compete. And I was like, let's do it, you know. But we knew that we couldn't do a whole bunch in a long period of time. So
mhm,
everything now has to be shortened. That's why I went week. So it's like I went New York first, then the
mhm.
very next week I went Palmetto, then the very next week I went Miami.
Okay,
And yeah, so I couldn't do anything else after that, even if I wanted to. So
got you.
just because I can't put that amount of stress on my body or anything like that.
And even through all this tribulation, You going back to your fourth Olympia
Mm.
straight, man. Like I ain't got no clappers and fireworks, but I'm gonna clap for you. I ain't gonna hold it. Like sound out
Yeah.
the fireworks, like hit the buttons, hit the buttons. Look, man, so salute to you, man. Like that, it's inspirational for sure. Of course, I'm almost certain a lot of people didn't know. They got the message that you have pulled out, and a lot of people, were questioning why only the ones who were close to you needed to know. No one really needed to know. But I appreciate you sharing that because it was something like I thought about. I was like, I don't know if I should touch on that or not, but
No,
I
yeah.
definitely appreciate you sharing that with us, man.
Yep. I'm an open book, man. Like I said, and for those that talk to me, they know that I'm real. I keep it 100, and I'll tell you as it is. And so
All right.
sometimes it'll hurt your feelings, sometimes it won't. And but after I hurt your feelings, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you a little bit of loving afterwards and put a band-aid on it, like one of those Sour Patch Kids or whatever.
As long as
So,
it's coming from a real place, man, that's all that matters, man.
yep.
For real. So you are heading into this year's Olympia. You took last year off, clearly. Any pressure you putting on yourself? I think I know the answer to that, but I'd rather hear it from
Yeah, man.
you.
So I'm not gonna lie, there is pressure just because
Hmm.
there's pressure on me because people are expecting me. There's pressure from other people that are expecting to see me because of last year and everything that's been
Okay.
going on. So, um, but at the same time, do I feel the pressure? Not really, because man,
Uh,
you know what I'm saying? Because to be honest with you, I probably shouldn't even be up there, you know?
yep.
So, this is just another blessing. It's like for me to be able to hit the Olympia stage again after everything I've been through, it's like, come on now. It's like, it's dope. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be in backstage, have my phone. Yo, let's take a picture. I'm gonna
Yep.
be a little, yep. So I'm gonna be a little fanboy in the back, enjoying the moment while everybody
Yeah.
else is all grumpy and mean, focused on trying to win a title. I'm gonna be
Oh
back there
man.
having the time of my life. You know what I'm saying? And if I crack top five or win or whatever it is, or if I'm dead last, hey, guess what? I'm Gucci. I'm good regardless.
Man, Imma remember this. Enjoy the moment for sure. Cause my pro debut, I did not enjoy the moment. I put too much pressure on myself to do pretty much nothing in a sense, but this conversation actually confirms that again, staying present, which is what I talked about, so, yeah, Imma remember this one for sure,
Well,
so
one thing that I remembered is that I thought about, a long time ago. Um, we fight so hard to be able to compete with these people that we look up to.
Mhm.
Our idols, or and um, eventually, once we get there, why should that change? You know, why should
Mhm.
we not feel joyous being able to compete? You made it. Like you're
Absolutely.
there, and so that's what I tell people. It's like enjoy the moment, be backstage, like, don't be shy. Like, you know, if Dre's hitting the same show as you and you're a fan of Dre, like I was a fan of Dre, I'll go to
Mhm.
Dre and be like, yo, bro, what up? Chiron, everybody, man. Like I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, you know, I'm
Right.
I'm busy seeing y'all on my phone and on these live streams. It's like y'all are real.
For real, though.
And it's like, and now I'm competing against y'all and I can beat y'all. It's like, come on now. So
Hey.
so yeah, I don't know, man. I think that you should really just be in the moment, enjoy it, and then you can be sour or whatever afterwards, and back to business and grind time. But man, just be in the moment, and that's another thing. Prep is so stressful and intense, and you're in the moment with prep.
Mhm.
Like if you can't be in the moment with prep, why can't you be in the moment when you're backstage too? And so
Yes. Yeah. I duly noted.
yeah,
Duly
man.
noted for sure, for sure.
Yep.
I'll hit you with 3 quick hitters before I get you up out of here. So, words of wisdom that you can provide to those who are just starting and want to get into this sport, or some of the amateurs that have been in it a minute? What's something that you can pass down to them that can help them make that transition into the sport?
Make the transition into the sport.
Yes, so
Um,
either for those who are just starting or for those who've kind of been in it and kind of just still struggling.
Man, actually, I got a couple things, man. First thing is
Hey.
obviously consistency, consistency,
Mhm,
consistency, consistency. And remember, it doesn't happen overnight. So I've been doing this 10 years.
mhm,
I didn't hit the Olympia stage until my seventh year. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And so, and you can ask anybody other than Aaron Banks because he's a freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else had to put in the work. So don't these overnight success stories. It's cool to try to chase it, you know, but don't expect it. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between expecting something and working for something. You got to work for it, And so, and
Mhm,
sometimes that may take 2 years. Sometimes that may take 20 years, But don't be afraid to take the long route. Okay. Because the long route, that journey that you take on that long route is what creates you as a person. And a lot of people, they'll take the short route, and then now they got a shitty person, that they just created. So uh
yeah,
so
that's
yeah, so
real.
don't be afraid to take the long route, man. Enjoy the journey.
Mhm,
And then be consistent, be resilient, always give back along the way. Um, yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Oh, and I will tell them the same. This is what Jay Cutler told me, man, when I
mhm,
was an amateur. So I'm gonna pass this word of wisdom. He told me, picking your shows is more important, if is just as important, if not more important, than your prep. And I didn't know what that
mm,
meant until, and it's more for pros, you know what I'm saying? This is more for
mhm,
the pros because we kind of get to pick and choose our shows, and we
mhm,
get to see the list of names that we're going against and everything like that. So, but even as amateurs, you can kind of get an idea on which shows are going to be pretty heavy hitter shows. So, and don't let your ego get in place. Like me, bro, ain't no shame in my game, bro. If I'm like, yo, I'm gonna wax that dude. I'm like, yep, sign me up. I'm like, yep. I'm like, let me get this
Talk that
qualification
talk.
real. Yeah, let me get this qualification real quick because
Yeah,
the end goal is the same for everybody, bro.
exactly.
The end goal is to get a dub and make it to the Olympia. And for the amateurs, the end goal is to get a dub and get your pro card. You know what I'm saying? And so
Absolutely.
so if I'm an amateur, what do I look like going to USA's with, if I'm 150 pounds string bean, you know, well, what's my chances on turning pro at USA's? No, I'm gonna take my butt over to like Nashville or one of these smaller ones that probably won't have some heavy hitters, you know. Like you got to pick your shows properly, and because you did all this work during prep for what? So you can have an ego and try to do the biggest show just for you to lose?
Ooh,
Like,
that ego would trip you up, man.
yeah, it's like that. Yeah, no sir, no, I ain't got no ego here. That's the reason why, like, a lot of my shows that I qualified for were
Mhm.
smaller shows, like Texas and Tampa. I was already qualified. I didn't have to do those, so that was just like fun and games that I won.
Right.
So, but like this year, Palmetto, like I did New York, the big heavy hitter show, right? I didn't win.
Mhm.
I didn't win. So what did I do? I was like, Palmetto. I was like, shoot, that's a
Yeah.
little show. I like it. Ain't nobody showing up to Palmetto. Let me sign me up
Man.
real quick to this Palmetto, get my O
Yeah.
call.
Let me go to
So
South Carolina real quick.
yeah. So you got to pick your shows, man. Be strategic, pick your shows, be smart about it. Because you don't want to put in all this work for nothing. And then
Absolutely.
once you work your way up, and then you can be a dog about it and just go fight. Even at the bigger shows.
That's true. Y'all make sure y'all have y'all notepad out here. He dropping gems for real. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Yeah.
But speaking of shows though, if there besides the Olympia, if there is one show that's like, all right, this is a bucket list show. I'm about to circle this one because it's the one before I hang it up. Like I gotta win this one. What show is that for you?
that I already won? Does it matter if I won it already or no?
Nah, yeah, that matters. You got a lot of wins too, so cycle.
So I
cycle.
can't pick any of them that I won already.
No, pick another
Oh,
one.
okay, pick another one because I was gonna say Texas Pro, bro. The Texas Pro, that
Uh,
show is just like the
that's on
production,
my list. I'll tell you that because that production is
the
nasty.
production, the trophy,
Look,
Freddie, the DJ, the back, the
okay,
bro. It's literally the best show. So,
I
but since
got
I
you.
can't pick that one because I won that show twice, so I can't
Yes, you
pick that
did,
one.
sir.
So I would have to say one that I want to win. I would have to say Pittsburgh because I did New York, man. I
Hey,
did New York.
uh-huh.
I was not a fan of New York, but that
Really?
might be because I'm a country boy, and so I
New
think
York is
this
all city. New York is
yeah. So I
all
think the
city.
hustle and
Yeah.
bustle of of New York kind of
Uh-huh.
put me in a kind of had me feeling some type of way, and I was like, man, I don't want to come here.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, cause I've been it's funny. Ironically, I'm flying out to Pittsburgh tomorrow, but I did North Americas too, and I did North Americas in COVID, and so we was in that tent. I don't know if you heard about that story where they had us back there in the tent. It was like mad people back there. They were shuttling us from the airport and all kind of stuff.
No,
So
I didn't even know.
yeah, it was crazy. So this was 2020, but I always said like, man, I can't wait to go back because I love just the environment of Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
So like I turned pro USA's the following year, and it's like so we're 8 episodes in, and I asked this question to everyone, and Pittsburgh then came up about 80% of the time, bro.
yeah, Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
and because it's the staple, man. That's the headquarters. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So I mean,
So
that's got to be on the list. You know, and then obviously Arnold. You know, everybody wants to win
um,
Arnold. You know, so
absolutely.
those will be
So
my two, Arnold or Pittsburgh, because like I
okay.
said, I don't know, New York, I wasn't. Eh, it was
I,
cool, but it's like
I got you. And then last but not least, because I'm very passionate about this type of dialogue, which you enhanced it so much, man. So I'm appreciative of that. If there is one, we'll say two, it could be male or female, two people that you can see that can come on here and be able to, tell their story while enhancing the dialogue as far as mental health in our sport, who would it be?
mental health. I always think that my homie Charjo is a good because he's a vet also. You know,
Mm,
he's active. He about to be retired, but I think he's
yeah.
a good one. Charjo.
Okay.
Um, Rough Diesel is also another good one. If you want to go outside of men's physique,
Oh yeah,
Rough,
I'm all over the place. Like
yeah,
I'm doing all divisions to be honest with you. And it's just, I feel like it's just so important because everyone has a story. We all go through stuff, and that's the point. Like, we're all human. So,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? A lot of people wouldn't have known a lot of what you went through until maybe they listen to this. You know
yeah,
what I
most
mean?
definitely.
And so you're triumphant just within the story, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm going all divisions, man. But Charger and Rough is good. If you have a female, throw it out there. I'm all for it, man.
Uh, Not too familiar. 'Cause I'm not close with any females, man. Out of respect for my wife, obviously. So,
Absolutely. I totally get
so
that.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
have a lot of females that I consider like my favorite physique, but like I don't be going into detail as far as like mental health and everything with
right.
females. So
Yeah, but nah, that's all good. My guy Daniel Ammons, man, appreciate you so much, bro. Like this, I learned a lot. I ain't gonna
yeah,
lie. Just having this conversation and just appreciate you being open to even continue this dialogue, man.
yeah, it was dope, man. It was dope.
Yeah,
I had a
appreciate you.
blast, man. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
you having me.
Yes, sir. So we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.